Hello, party people. What's good? Lonnie Appleton here, healthy family advocate, here for a Bible study, but I don't know if I'm going to read the Bible. I'm just stopping in because I am here with two beautiful humans.
Well, so what?
If
That'll be alignment, though.
Right, I feel like it is.
but if what Ion's
Just like,
We got.
where do you want us to sit?
Right, I was like, we can move.
oh no, I was
I don't
going to
want
join
to.
y'all's conversation.
But I thought we're Bible reading. What's the objective right now? Just gotta figure out the time
Offerings.
we're
No.
leaving.
Oh, right.
Because we have to go back to the house still, and
Yeah.
then turn around.
All right, so I'm going to do 30 minutes of Bible study, but I was just going to say, if when you're speaking to someone, like what Ion expressed is on the level, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, me too. Like, that's dope that you found someone who has the flexibility, the fluidity, and the expectations that you can align with, you know what I'm saying? And then you guys can build from that. I think foundationally a good friendship is just willingness to grow together,
That's what
whatever
I mean.
that looks like, you know? So if Mama came to say hi.
I know. She's like, yep, I know that's what you need, baby.
Hey Kendra, we're early for Bible study because we came for a hike. Let me. I can't even show you the little piece of crap hike they had me on. You know.
Wow. Right, you see how she trash talked?
You know, look.
The way she was like, I don't like hiking.
Right.
All right. So anyway, I'm not gonna.
tried.
I just said it was just look. It was a 10-step hike. It was a 10-step hike. We took our 10
Made
steps.
you out of breath.
Yep, had my booty muscles, you know, expanding. It was a hike. But anyway, we're gonna do Bible study 30 minutes today. I am here with Bailey and Ion, and they're going to continue their conversation. I'm gonna do 30 minutes of Bible study. I'm a little early because I gotta go to class early. I don't know what the heck is going on, but we're here. We're on Leviticus 9, and we were talking about, Ion asked a really good question, and here's something for us all to contemplate. They asked, what are your needs in friendship and in connection, loyalty, and boundaries? Those are the notes that I took. And so those are something for us all to contemplate as good afternoon. I can't really see my screen, but hey friend, we're doing Bible study. I took off my little notification. But yeah, that's something for us all to contemplate. What are our needs in friendship as we have joined with Ion? You know, Bailey and I, you know, we are establishing our friendship as well, right? Because just because Bailey's my daughter doesn't mean that we're friends. So I have to learn how to be her friend, and she has to learn how to be my friend. Now Ion has joined the fold, so we are now coming into a space where it's like, okay, what does friendship look like for all of us so that we can all become friends, right? We're not friends, we're becoming friends, but we also have to put our expectations of what friendship is. So that's something for us all to, especially as Black women and people out here who are seeking tribe, seeking friendship, seeking, you know, companionship. How do we express that? And so I really liked how Ion opened the conversation and said, okay, I'm coming into you guys' space, you're coming into my space. What does that look like? Just off top, we already know what it looks like, so we know if we can build from this moment forward, or that we just have a couple good moments together. Because if we just had a couple good moments, blessed, right? But if we can continue to build, we must have a foundation of understanding. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. All right, so we're about to get into this Bible, y'all. Chapter 9. The priests begin their ministry. All right, here we go. On the 8th day, Moses summoned Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. He said to Aaron, take a bull calf for your sin offering and a ram for your burnt offering, both without defect, and present them before the Lord. For some reason, I could read better outside than I could read in the house. Hold on, let me turn my About Me back on so folks know we out here reading the Bible. both a year old and without defect for a burnt offering, and an ox and a ram for a fellowship offering to sacrifice before the Lord, together with the grain offering mixed with olive oil, for today the Lord will appear to you. They took the things Moses commanded to the front of the tent of meeting, and the entire assembly came near and stood before the Lord. Then Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded you to do, so that the glory of the Lord may appear to you." Moses said to Aaron, "Come to the altar and sacrifice your sin offering and your burnt offering and make atonement for yourself and the people. Sacrifice the offering that is for the people and make atonement for them as the Lord has commanded." This just reads to me, or it just speaks to me, it's great to have a praying grandma. Y'all know how they say it's great to have a praying grandma? Because that intercessory, having somebody come on your behalf who truly has connection, gonna get you some results. I have recently come to the understanding, and I can't diminish what I've had before because I have a tendency to do that. The one way to do things, the ideology that I always root back to, religion. There's only one pathway to God. Therefore, we go through life with the ideology that there's only one way to do things, so we must attach to a particular way of doing things. And then that creates a space of inflexibility where, okay, some new thoughts and ideas enter our field of awareness, but we automatically reject it because it does not align with our present belief system, and we must only hold one belief system, or we're inconsistent, we're fake, we're all these different things. No, we're just growing and flowing with information, and that's how you grow. You flow. That looks like a teepee on the top of that hill. It probably is because we're over by the zoo. Anyway, so I recently came to the space understanding that I actually pray now. I actually pray in a mirror. And I know somebody's going to say that's egotistical. I pray all the time. I talk to God all the time. But actually, when I sit down and I pray, I look in this mirror and I talk to God. It's pretty cool. Like, I can feel it energetically. I don't care what anybody says. This is my process. I don't talk about your praying. Don't talk about mine. Or I don't judge your praying. Don't judge mine. But what I'm saying is, I now have conversations with God. And I feel it so deeply within me. So when I started actually having conversations with God, my God energy, it came to the space where it was just like, this is what they mean when you have a praying grandma. Somebody who has a deep connection with God. And I'm not saying that's me. I'm just saying my connection with God has gotten deeper. This is why God told me after the mirror session, when I sat down to journal, God said, read the Bible every day on live at 12 p.m. We're a little early today because I got things to do. But, God told me to read the Bible. God has told me every step of the way. What I'm sharing with you guys is because I'm being guided and I'm being led. And there's a young lady that I met on here, which I went down a rabbit hole, and she was talking about how she jumped timelines. And it was at the time that I jumped a timeline knowingly. I posted a video about it. And I messaged her and I was like, can we connect somehow, blah, blah, blah. And we never ended up connecting. But the thing that she said to me that was life-changing, you have to understand that people can change your life in 3 words. People don't have to do huge things in your lives to change your lives. If you are looking to grow and to know and to become, people can change your life in the blink of an eye. And so the 3 words that she said to me that totally shifted my perspective was, you never have not known. You've always been guided. And when she told me I was being guided, that shifted my perspective and changed my life, because now that adds on to where, Sarah Landon and the council planted the seed where, when you are creating realities, each step is a step that leads you to the next step, which means whatever it is that you are creating you are calling into your world, and we're creators, manifesting is a thing, but I like to create. At whatever reality you're creating for yourself, you have to understand whatever you are presently doing is leading you to that. Manifestation is such a big thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm pulling this huge thing into me. And because we're focused on this huge thing that we're pulling into us, we don't understand that what we're doing right now in this present moment is creating that. Because we're just like, I need this thing. But if we understand creationism, when we create something, we take our hands and we build it, and we're soldering it, or we're cutting it down, or we're doing something, we are creating it. So if we look at that, we understand if we take a ball of clay and we are molding it and we are creating it, then we can understand each step is creating the reality that we are working towards. And so I don't remember why I got on that. Sarah Landon taught me about creationism. She said you're being guided, and now I talk to God in mirrors. Anyway, not all mirrors, just one. So Aaron came to the altar and slaughtered the calf as a sin offering for himself. I made some sense there somewhere. I know I had a point in there. I just don't remember what it was. His sons brought the blood to him, and he dipped his fingers into the blood and put it on the horns of the altar. The rest of the blood he poured out at the base of the altar. On the altar he burnt the fat, the kidneys, and the long lobe of the liver from the sin offering, as the Lord commanded Moses. The flesh and the hide he burnt up outside the camp. Praying grandma, creationism, watching these ducks, whatever they're doing, their little butts are up in the air because they're going under the water, is really cool. I think they're eating. What do ducks eat? Do they eat what's in the water? They don't eat fish. What do ducks eat? Some ducks. I've seen a bird that is a water bird eat a fish before. All the birds are coming to say hi. How y'all doing? Then he slaughtered the burnt offering. His son handed him the blood, and he splashed it against the sides of the altar. They handed him the burnt offering piece by piece, including the head and burnt them on the altar. He washed the internal organs and the legs and burned them on top of the burnt offering. Oh, if you are in the creation mode, understand, just appreciate today. The whole point of the whole creation thing is just appreciate today. Live today intentionally. Live today purposefully, because you are molding. Your life is a piece of clay that you're molding. Whatever world you're creating for your reality is a piece of clay that you're molding. So you must be in gratitude and appreciation for whatever you're doing, being intentional, because it is creating your reality. And document it, because once you finally do pull that thing into your awareness, people are going to want to know what your energetic vibration was step to step, especially if you are leaving legacy. If you are leaving legacy, and the people who come behind you, they want to know how you did what you did. You birthed whatever you birthed because you are birthing your tribe. You understand? My daughter is my best friend because she is my tribe. I birthed 4 individuals that are automatically going to be a part of my tribe because they have my DNA, which means they have my capabilities, which means whatever I am able to push myself to do in this lifetime, my children also have those capabilities and more, because they have a sooner starting point, so they could utilize my resources and my knowledge and push themselves to their highest potential. My 4-year-old is coming into this thing limitless. You know, my 6-year-old is limitless. My 11-year-old is in limitation because she was raised up until the point that I understood what was going on. My 18-year-old is limited, but she is breaking free. She is about to experience her awakening. I see all the signs, and I'm so very happy for her. But, you know, I'm able to transfer all of that knowledge, but because I document everything, she is able to see the process for me. So as you are creating your reality, make sure that you are documenting what you go through, the highs and the lows, the the things that don't matter, all of those things. You're documenting all of that so that your future generations who have your DNA, who have your genetic code, who have your capabilities, can look and see, man, stuff don't look like it's going right. They could open up your book that you wrote, which is your journal, and see, yeah, there was a season where things didn't seem like they were going right, but you kept going, and so they keep going. Do you understand? You are writing your guidebook. When you journal, you are writing your guidebook. You are writing your life. We are ancient history. We are living ancient history right now. The choice is yours if you're going to document it. Thank you for the love. Obviously, I'm on a tangent today. We're going to talk about some more blood offerings right now. Hello, B. I see you. Aaron then brought the offering that was for the people. He took the goat for the people's sins offering and slaughtered it and offered it for a sin offering as he did with the first one. He brought the burnt offering and offered it in the prescribed way. He also brought the grain offering, took a handful of it and burned it on the altar in addition to the morning's burnt offering. He slaughtered the ox and the ram as the fellowship offering to the people. His sons handed him the blood and he splashed it against the sides of the altar, but the fat portions of the ox and the ram, and the fat and the tail, the layer of the fat, the kidney, and the long lobe of the liver, these they laid on the breast, and then Aaron burnt the fat on the altar. Aaron waved the breast and the right thigh before the Lord as a wave offering as Moses commanded. Then Aaron lifted his hands toward the people and blessed them, and having sacrificed the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the fellowship offering, he stepped down. Moses and Aaron then went into the tent of meeting. When they came out, they blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. Fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat portions on the altar, and when all the people saw it, they shouted for joy and fell face down. Well, if that's all God had to do to get some respect, he should have consumed some offerings way before, and then we wouldn't have been in the wilderness for the extended period of time we were. All he had to do was come through the fire, and I'd have saw that too, and I would have shouted with joy too. You ain't gonna have no more problems from me, God. Chapter 10, the death of Nadab and Abihu. Aaron's son Nadab and Abihu took their censers, put fire in them, and added incense. And they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord. Ooh, it is about to go down, y'all. This is premature death, which means they did something to cause it. Ooh, you know God don't play. It's about to get good, y'all. I know somebody's death ain't good, but animals been dying left and right. People can die too, right? It's all living things. Let's see what happens. Woo-wee. So, okay. Hold on. Let's just start all over. I can't miss this story. Aaron's son Nadab and Abihu took their censers, put fire in them, and added incense, and they offered unauthorized fire before the Lord, contrary to his command. So fire came out from the presence of the Lord and consumed them. Whew. And they died before the Lord. Moses then said to Aaron, "This is what the Lord spoke of when he said, 'Among those who approach me, I will be proved holy. In the sight of all the people, I will be honored.'" Aaron remained silent. So your sons just got consumed by God. And your brother looks at you and says, they shouldn't have did it. It's what God said. And Aaron's like, I get it. Moses summoned Mishael and Elzaphan, sons of Aaron's uncle Ezuel, and said to them, "Come here, carry your cousins outside the camp, away from the front of the sanctuary." So they came and carried them, still in their tunics, outside the camp as Moses ordered. This is cutthroat, y'all. Then Moses said to Aaron and his sons Eleazar and Ithamar, "Do not let your hair become unkept, and do not tear your clothes, or you will die, and the Lord will be angry with the whole community." I know you just lost your sons right there in front of you, but don't let it affect you, otherwise it's going to piss God off some more, and then everybody else going to get it. This is crazy sauce. But your relatives, all the Israelites, may mourn for those the Lord has destroyed by fire. Do not leave the entrance to the tent of meeting, or you will die. Are they still in their 7 days, or is this different? Because the Lord's anointing oil is on you. So that they did as Moses said. So now, not only did Aaron's children just get consumed in front of him, they can't go and properly mourn. This is heavy. Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons are not to drink wine or other fermented drinks whenever you go into the tent of meeting, or you will die." See, this is a heavy cross to bear. Many are called the chosen or few. That has been resonating in my head lately, because this is some heavy stuff. Like, get somebody else to do it. Like, I can't breathe unless I'm gonna die. This is too staunch for me. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come, so that you can distinguish between the holy and the common. This is so you can distinguish between the holy and the common, between the clean and unclean, and so you can teach the Israelites all the decrees that the Lord has given them through Moses. This is literally trial by fire, y'all. Moses said to Aaron and his remaining sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, take the grain offering left over from the food offerings prepared without yeast and presented to the Lord, and eat it beside the altar, for it is most holy. Eat it in the sanctuary area, because it is your share and your son's share of the food offerings presented to the Lord, for so I have been commanded. But you and your sons and your daughters may eat the breast that was waved and the thigh that was presented. Eat them in a ceremonial clean place. They have been given to you and your children as your share of the Israelites' fellowship offerings. The thigh that was presented and the breast that was waved must be brought with the fat portions of the food offerings to be waved before the Lord as a wave offering. This will be the perpetual share for you and your children, as the Lord has commanded. When Moses inquired about the goat of the sin offering and found that it had been burned up, he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's remaining sons, and asked, why didn't you eat the sin offering in the sanctuary area? It is most holy. It was given to you to take away the guilt of the community by making atonement for them before the Lord. Since its blood was not taken into the holy place, you should have eaten the goat in the sanctuary area as I commanded. Aaron replied to Moses, today they sacrificed their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord, but such things as this have happened to me. Would the Lord have been pleased if I had eaten the sin offering today? When Moses heard this, he was satisfied. I feel there's some pieces that are missing in that conversation. I'm just thinking, if my kids are consumed by fire right in front of me, whatever else was on the agenda for the day is scrapped. Yeah, we're not doing that today. Today there needs to be an exception. Chapter 11. Clean and unclean food. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, what I received from that was where it said, this will so that you can distinguish between the holy and the common, between the unclean and the clean, and so you can teach the Israelites all the decrees of the Lord given to them through Moses. What I received from that is, you don't have to, I get it, you're human in your being. Your duality, I get it. But the key is to continue to refine yourself to a space where you can be discerned between the two. Like, I know who is a messenger and I know who is of the world, and sometimes it's easier to see, and sometimes it's, you gotta continue to utilize your spirit of discernment. But far too many people who come in the name of the Lord ain't really of the Lord. And because it's so widely accepted for just anyone, you literally can just walk in, get baptized, and you're in, but you haven't made any changes to live upright and to be, as Bailey said, what did she say, righteous? I was like, what the heck does righteous mean? But live in a way that you believe is pleasing to the God in you, because God is individualized to me. Won't the joke be on me if I die and God's like, nah, there's only one pathway. I was like, but I've been baptized twice, let me in. No, but yeah. Chapter 11, clean and unclean food. All I'm saying is that the line is too blurred, and I'm not saying that I'm the example. I'm living my relationship with God. You live your relationship with God. But what I'm saying is, because, thank you for the love. Hey Regina. I can't see my screen. What I'm saying is, because it is so blurred on what it looks like to have true relationship with God, there's a lot of people who don't know God but are presenting as if they do. So what I receive from that is so you can discern the clean from the unclean, the holy from the common, as you continue to elevate your consciousness and you ascend to higher consciousness and moving more into your God consciousness and awareness. You start, your circle gets smaller. Spirit of discernment increases. That's what I receive from that. Clean and unclean food. Number 11. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, say to the Israelites, of all the animals that live on land, these are the ones you may eat. You may eat an animal that has a divided hoof and that chews the cud. There are some that only chew the cud and only have a divided hoof, but you must not eat them. The camel, though it chews the cud, does not have a divided hoof. It is ceremonially unclean for you. The hyrax, though it chews the cud, does not have a divided hoof. It is unclean for you. The rabbit, though it chews the cud, does not have a divided hoof. It is unclean for you. And the pig, though it has a divided hoof, does not chew the cud. It is unclean for you. You must not eat their meat or touch their carcasses. They are unclean for you. Of all the creatures living in the water, of all the seas and of the streams, and you may eat any that have fins and scales. But all the creatures in the seas or streams that do not have fins and scales, whether among all the swarming things or among all the other living creatures in the water, you are to regard as unclean. And since you are to regard them as unclean, you must not eat their meat. You must regard their carcasses as unclean. Anything living in the water that does not have fins and scales is to be regarded as unclean by you. These are the birds you are to regard as unclean and not eat because they are unclean: the eagle, the vulture, the black vulture, the red kite, and any kind of black kite, any kind of raven, the horned owl, the screech owl, the gull, any kind of hawk, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the white owl, the desert owl, the osprey, the stork, any kind of heron, the hoopie, and the bat. All the bat, y'all. See, they should have left that dang bat alone. I know they cooked that thing up in the lab, but y'all stay away from that damn bat. That was a monkey. Y'all remember Faces of Death? They used to have those episodes when I was a kid. We used to rent them at Blockbuster, and there was the one where they had the monkey in the table, and it was alive, and they cracked his skull with the little crackers. I bet you it's on YouTube. Traumatized, stained in my brain. Now it's stained in yours. All flying insects that walk on all four are to be regarded as unclean by you. There are, however, some flying insects that will walk on all fours that you may eat. Those that have jointed legs for hopping on the ground. Of these you may eat any kind of locust, katydids, cricket, or grasshopper. I'm just saying, if you ever caught in the wilderness and you need to eat something, go and get your hands on locust, katydid, cricket, or grasshopper. Apparently they're good for eating. But all the other flying insects that have 4 legs you are to regard as unclean. You will make yourself unclean by these. However, touching these carcasses will be unclean till evening. Whoever picks up one of these carcasses must wash their clothes, and they shall be unclean till evening. Every animal that does not have a divided hoof or that does not chew the cud is unclean for you. Whoever touches the carcasses of any of these will be unclean. Of all the animals that walk on all fours, those that walk on their paws are unclean for you. Whoever touches these carcasses will be unclean till evening. Anyone who picks up their carcasses must wash their clothes, and they will be unclean till evening. These animals are unclean for you. Of the animals that move along the ground, these are unclean for you: the weasel, the rat, any kind of great lizard, the gecko, the monitor lizard, the wall lizard, the sink in the chameleon. Of all those that move along the ground, these are unclean for you. Whoever touches them when they are dead will be unclean till evening. When one of them die and falls on something, that article, whatever its use, will be unclean, whether it is made of wood, cloth, hide, or sackcloth. Put it in the water, it will be unclean till evening, and then it will be clean. If one of them falls into a clay pot, everything in it will be unclean, and you must break the pot. Any food you are allowed to eat that has come into contact with water from any such pot is unclean, and any liquid that is drunk from such a pot is unclean. Anything that one of their carcasses falls on becomes unclean, and oven or cooking pot must be broken up. They are unclean, and you are to regard them as unclean. A spring, however, or a cistern for collecting water remains clean, but anyone who touches one of these carcasses is unclean. If a carcass falls on any seeds that are to be planted, they remain clean, but if water has been put on the seed and the carcass falls on it, it is unclean for you. If any animal that you are allowed to eat dies, anyone who touches its carcass will be unclean till evening. Anyone who eats some of its carcass must wash their clothes, and they will be unclean until evening. Anyone who picks up the carcasses must wash their clothes, and they will be unclean till evening. Every creature that moves along the ground is to be regarded as unclean. It is not to be eaten. You are not to eat any creature that moves along the ground, whether it moves on its belly or walks on all fours or on many feet. It is unclean. Do not defile yourself by any of these creatures. Do not make yourself unclean by means of them, or be made unclean by them. I am the Lord your God. Consecrate yourself and be holy, because I am holy. Do not make yourselves unclean by any creature that moves along the ground. I am the Lord who brought you up out of Egypt to be your God. Therefore be holy, because I am holy. These are the regulations concerning animals, birds, every living thing that moves about in the water, and every creature that moves along the ground. You must distinguish between the unclean and the clean, between the living creatures that may be eaten and those that may not be eaten. All right. Tomorrow we are going to talk about purification after childbirth. Ooh-wee. This is only a couple of, I want to know. Let's see. Chapter 12. It's only a couple paragraphs. The Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, a woman who becomes pregnant and gives birth to a son will be ceremonially unclean for 7 days, just as she is unclean during her monthly period. On the 8th day, the boy is to be circumcised. Then the woman must wait 33 days to be purified from her bleeding. She must not touch anything sacred or go to the sanctuary until the days of her purification are over. If she gives birth to a daughter for 2 weeks, the woman will be unclean, as during her period. Was they bleeding for 2 weeks back in the day? Then she must wait 66 days to be purified from her bleeding. When the days of her purification for her son or daughter are over, she is to bring to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting a year-old lamb for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a dove for a sin offering. He shall offer them before the Lord to make atonement for her, and then she will be ceremonially clean from her flow of blood. These are the regulations for the women who give birth to a boy or a girl. But if she cannot afford a lamb, she is to bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a burnt offering and the other for a sin offering. In this way, the priest will make atonement for her, and she will be clean. I don't even got an opinion on that. All right. Tomorrow we will read Leviticus chapter 13, regulations about defiling skin diseases. Oh, Lord, y'all know I got acne, so I'm curious what the heck is going on in there. Did you hear the bird laugh at me? That was a good joke. See, I like my jokes too. Thank you for laughing. Anyway, guys, go ahead and get your journals and journal what you received from today's message. I am going to go to class. I've got an action-packed day. We went hiking. It was a little finger snap of a hike. I was all ready to complain. It wasn't even long enough to start complaining. So, we're going to go to class. I get to introduce Ion to Shifu and Bailey to Shifu. I'm really excited. I hope they see what I see in him, not in a weird way, but just, when you meet people that feed your soul, you hope when you introduce other people to them, like you would say, hey, I met Lonnie, I found Lonnie on the internet, and, she feeds my soul. I would like for you to, get to know her. And you hope that the people you introduce also feel what you feel. So I'm excited for that exposure. And how you can support the community that supports you. I am here Monday through Saturday as time permits, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It is presently 12:05, so I'm early. Whatever time it is now where you're at, this is the time that I come live usually, but I got things to do today. You can all donate to the Cash App if you just want to give a cash donation, support the community. Lonnie Appleton in my bio. You can purchase merch. This is one of my shirts. Use your mouth to speak good, or use your mouth for good, speak life. What that means is every time you open your mouth, you should be speaking life into yourself, speaking life into your situations, speaking life into your family, always uplifting language. Pay attention to how you speak. This is one of the lessons that I'm learning right now, because I talk cash money shit, y'all. So we got to pay attention to the stuff that we say. You can always get your merch at LonnieLifestyle.com, link in bio. If you're a reader, I have 2 books, Urban Fiction, the Domino series, more on the spiritual guidebook, Healing, how I started to awaken myself and figure out this life is what's the best that can happen, LonnieLifestyle.com. I am a certified life and relationship coach. Aside from that, I'm just connected with higher consciousness. I honestly got the certifications because it makes people feel warm and fuzzy, but I don't need that. What I know doesn't come from a book. What I know comes from tapping in, and that's what we do. Anyway, you can always get your coaching services. Another price point would be my energy worksheet. So you come to me and you say, hey, these are the things I'm working through. The description's on the website, but I can work out an energy worksheet for you. Those are $66. Coaching are $222 for an hour and a half with me. Well worth it to figure yourself out on any level. I offer mentorship. I offer other services, as well as I am available for podcasts. I'm available for speaking engagements. Let's connect and really start spreading the word of God in a way that is meaningful and impactful for people like us, because we have connection, but we also need to have access to the word to really build that true relationship with God, so that we can truly move into our God consciousness and take this thing to where it needs to go. So I will see you guys mañana. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you.